I thought I would do. Uh, um, um, well, we're not going to review the new Deep Purple album, which came out yesterday or Friday, but I thought I'd just talk about it because otherwise people will say you're going to review the new Deep Purple album.
No, because we've talked about it.
Yeah, we've already talked about it. Aha! I win.
Did we miss some subjects to talk about, by the way, Kev? Because that guy...
Someone did say, did you do the subjects? And we only had one, did we?
What was that subject?
I can't remember.
Someone mentioned Dadaism or something like that, but we thought that was a bit of a piss take.
Oh, that was just someone arguing and talking nonsense. They were just being pretentious. Oh, it was Zelda. Someone said, I liked it when you talked about Zelda.
Yeah.
Can you talk about Zelda?
Yeah, we did that.
That was the only one. There were a couple of requests to talk about music things, which we explicitly said apart from music things. So, yeah. I have thought of things to go on Patreon, though.
Good.
So, yeah, I will send you videos at some point to put on Patreon.
Okay.
There is another channel I've been watching. I imagine our viewers have been watching as well, which is Sea of Tranquility. And he does ranked albums by bands, so I can do videos of that because that's very, very easy.
Ranked albums. So is it all albums that they've done, or?
Yeah. So at number 4, it's this, and then in the comments people can argue and say that should be number 3, obviously, or 3.5. It's like any of it, really. It's just an excuse to talk about the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the new Deep Purple album, Whoosh. The previous album was completely meh. I can't even remember it. It passed me by completely. They seem to have completely just fallen into mediocrity. Nothing memorable on it at all. And there's been kind of basically been a slow decline. I mean, the Ian Gillan, Roger Glover, and Ian Pace are in their 70s. I think Gillan and Glover are about 75, so I'm not expecting great things. So this one is better, although it's still very meh. You do know what you're going to get. So I'm not recommending this album. They're better now. There's a couple of really nice musical bits, and I think they all come from Don Airey. He's the new keyboard player. I say new. He's been in the band for 17 years, 18 years. So yeah, it's just very meh. What I think is significant, it's produced by Bob Ezrin, so kind of tangentially on topic to what we're reviewing at the moment. And I think he's the wrong person to produce Deep Purple, and I think maybe he might be the problem with the last 3 albums. Although this one seems to have a slightly different approach. I just think he's the wrong person to produce Deep Purple. Because remember, Deep Purple are a live band who've never been able to record themselves properly. They don't really do... The studio version of songs are very, very, very rarely the definitive version of the song, because they just can't record themselves, and I've never really found a producer. But I don't think... this is the guy... He did Alice Cooper, and he did The Wall. To me, that's not Deep Purple, is it?
Who do you think should produce them?
I don't know. Probably Kevin Shirley, because he just records people. He puts microphones next to the band and they play. That's probably the best way to do it. Yeah. The only thing you can do is record them live, and live in the studio can be awful, and it can work, and it's just there's nothing you can do. Just play the whole thing live and just record it. Really good Ian Pace interview on it's in the Burn magazine, which is a Japanese thing. It's translated on the Highway Star website. A couple of... Well, he said about he doesn't like new music, it's all rubbish, all new music, but he likes Joe Bonamassa because he plays the blues, doesn't he? But he hates rap or hip-hop. It's too repetitive. The drums are too loud. Why does it have to be so loud? But he did say, see this, right? Why do these bands have 2 guitarists that just play the same thing? Because it makes it sound fuller. Just more guitar. No, it says boring. It makes it boring. Two guitarists just do the same thing. You've got two guitarists. Have two things, different things happening. Harmonise or something. Don't just more boring. Yeah. So it's interesting that is it's not just me. You see, this double guitar is boring.
Who has double guitarists then?
Every band in the world since 1991.
Well, isn't one rhythm and one lead or something like that? Isn't that the rule?
Supposed to be, yeah, but they both played the same thing all the time. I think Metallica does it. But rock bands before that.
Yeah, but Kirk Hammett is there for the solos, basically, isn't he?
Yeah, he isn't doing anything else. But it is now a thing that you have two guitarists. That is kind of normal for them to, if you've got a riff, you need two guitarists playing the riff. And and he talks about how it used to be like such a creative thing rock music. Instrumentation was a creative, original thing that you could innovate different sounds and make it, and it just isn't that. That's not what rock music is now. No, it's just.
Well, there's not how much actual rock music is there?
Well, there's lots of bands which I like rock, and people listen to those bands, and it's. What's that band that did Sound of Silence? But it was the Sound of Silence.
Oh God, yeah.
Which was kind of good, but also really funny. But that band, obviously they'll have two guitarists, and that whole genre there, you have to have two guitarists. There's a bass player there, but you can't hear him. So they might even have a keyboard player, but the keyboard player has to be off stage. So yeah, it's translated from what he said into Japanese, which has been translated back into English again. But that's a good interview. So yeah, maybe he said something completely different.